Missouri. We'll be right back with the second semifinal match of today's exciting tournament on Professional Bowlers Tour.
These days, practically everybody's a fight fan. And you know, when you look into the history of boxing, it goes way back to the caveman. Wow, what a right cross. Around 600 BC, the Greeks developed boxing as an Olympic sport. A glass jaw, but good. In 1719, England acclaimed her first bare knuckles champ, James Figg. How about those muscles? Soon the leggings came off and the gloves came on. The audience changed too, and the ladies began to follow boxing. And now, even Grandma's rooting for her favorite on Saturday night. So this is Don Dunphy inviting you and your family to join us at ringside for all the action on the Fight of the Week, every Saturday on ABC, TV's #1 network for sports.
Enthusiastic crowd at the Northland Bowl in Jennings, Missouri. Capacity crowd. They've just watched Harry Smith, his 6th appearance on the telecast, down Billy Welu 206 to 191. On the left, Jim Schroeder of Buffalo, New York. And on the far side, drying his hand right now, Joe Joseph of Lansing, Michigan. Joe is making his 2nd appearance. He's only been in 4 tournaments, and he has gotten this far twice, which is a phenomenal record.
Each man gets 1 practice ball on each of the lanes. This is Jim Schroeder from Buffalo.
Former baker, operating his dad's baking business along with 3 brothers, and he has been consistent on the PBA tour, although this is the first time that he has gotten through the field of 144 and become one of the 4 that go for the gold and glory here in the semifinals. He is rolling against Joe Joseph, the 43-year-old veteran, father of 3 children. He was a finalist in Memphis, losing to Steve Nagy. Semi-finalist, rather, losing to Steve Nagy. Still, another practice shot. This is Jim Schroeder.
One of these 2 will go into the finals against Harry Smith. And we see 2 contrasting styles here, Chris. The handshake, and they're off and right.
Jack, I'm sure you've seen Jim bowl quite a bit before, since a few years ago he bowled right out of St. Louis, Missouri. He's moved around to Detroit, St. Louis, and now Buffalo. Joe Joseph has moved all around. He has been All-American in bowling. He finished 2nd in the ABC doubles with Bob Nickel in 1958. Member of the ABC winning team in 59. There he is. He is on 17, the first shot.
Can't get a better start than that. I tell you something. If you want to learn something about bowling form, you watch Joe Joseph throughout this match. There is just about the smoothest bowler who ever rolled a ball. Well, here's Jim Schroeder trying to match his strike.
Jim is on 18, which means that he'll finish on 17 in this 2nd semifinal. That'll be a little tense, this being his first appearance on the show. Tremendous crowd and lights.
And leaves the 3-pin, almost had the 310 as he crossed over on the Brooklyn side, so he didn't match the strike that Joe Joseph got. It was Harry Smith 206, Billy Welu 191 in our first match. This place is mobbed here at the Northland Bowl. There on the in the middle is Laverne Carter. To her right is Don Carter's mother wearing the corsage, the orchid. 2 very, very fine people. Howard Key, writer for the Globe Democrat here in St. Louis, the gentleman in the picture.
Schroeder going for the 3-pin, and he marks in the first frame with a spare. Jim Schroeder. He won the New York State singles about 9 years ago. He has been on just about every PBA stop. He has missed 1. Father of 1 child. His profession bowling, his hobby bowling, he told us. Tonawanda, New York, is the actual address, his residence. Popular favorite in upstate New York. Oh, dinner by
And he leaves the bucket down there, the 2, 4, 5, 8. And a lot of ways to miss that one, Chris.
Certainly, and it's often interesting to watch how the various bowlers, how they line up on the approach in order to try and cover. Incidentally, Jim beat Marv Lowry of Birmingham, Alabama earlier, and also Jake Charter to get to the second semifinal. Jimmy is about straight away on the approach to try and cover the 2, 4, 5, 8.
And he does cover. I thought on his first delivery, Chris, that he got that ball out there well and had a lot of lift to it, but for some reason the ball just didn't finish for him. So he ends up with 16 in the first frame, and then a spare in the second. Here's Joe Joseph looking for a double. What's the bowling form this fella has? He has that feather touch.
Joe, who's looking for his first PBA tournament win. 2 of them. A big double for Joe Joseph in Lansing, Michigan.
He really lets that ball do the work for him, Chris. He gets up there, gets it out, turns it over, and a very effortless performer indeed.
We mentioned he had never won a tournament as we look at his double up there as compared to Jim Schroeder's pair of spares. This fellow's always been close. Finished second twice at Paramus in 1959 and at Houston in 1961. Look at that sighting.
There's his strike. As the 5-7 went down for him, and you start thinking in terms of that big money right here with 3 in a row to start the match.
You're speaking of $10,000.
Right. Jim Schroeder is really in tough straits right now. He started with a couple of spares. He's 24 pins down.
He is on 18.
Yeah, I thought for a moment he might leave that 4 pin, and it stood up there for just a while, but there's his first strike. And he didn't do things much differently in that frame than he did earlier when the ball didn't finish for him. This one did finish for him, and he carried that strike, his first of the match.
As you probably noticed, he rolled much harder than any of the 4 that we've had here on the telecast. Extremely hard, very strong, 5'9", 190 pounds.
He could use his double.
Mm-hmm.
He crossed over, almost went over that foul line according to his actions on the approach, and he leads a 3-pin. So he's had but 1 strike. He's in the 4th frame. And unfortunately for Jim, his opponent has started off in great fashion with 3.
Tremendously large crowd, very knowledgeable when bowling. Going now for the 3-pin. This is the second time that he has had to cover it. And he does it again.
But this match can change in a hurry, as we saw in the first match when Harry Smith was down by 31 pins at one time. He came back to win it. Now Joe Joseph will be looking for 4.
He is on 18.
Oh, boy. 4 very beautiful hits. And a 34-pin lead for Joe Joseph. And now he's looking for 5. Jim Schroeder with 56 through the 3rd frame and a spare up.
Jack, you notice how quickly he sights and aims? He doesn't, it seems just momentary. And then, boom, up the approach. 4 in a row.
Doesn't tie himself up. He goes in a hurry. He could win that $10,000 if he keeps banging him here. He needs 8 more strikes. And no 5-pin. There for a moment it looked like he was going to get some action that would carry that 5-pin for him, but one of the pins which had started in that direction failed to get over there, and so he leaves the 5-pin after striking 4 times. He still has a very substantial lead of 34 pins over Jim Schroeder, who is happy that string of strikes has ended, I'll bet.
Even though he doesn't have a shot at the $10,000, he still has an opportunity to win $5,000 if he can go all the way. The 5-pin, fair.
Joe Joseph here trying to earn the right to meet Harry Smith in our finals.
And friends, we'll be right back with the rest of the second semifinal match of today's exciting tournament on Professional Bowlers Tour. And now here's Edie Adams with a message about Muriel cigars.
Introducing Miss Edie Adams.
A shape can make you whistle. A shape can make you sigh. A shape can be delightful. A shape can catch your eye. Muriel makes a shape for you that's just your style. Choose the one that suits you best and give it a trial. You get the light touch with the right taste. The blend is sublime. Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime?
There are 6 Muriel shapes to choose from. In small cigars, air tips and coronellas. In regular sizes, magnums, straights, senators, and the new Muriel Corona.
Why don't you pick one up and smoke it sometime?
Back again at the Lakeland Bowl, Jennings, Missouri. Joe Joseph, smooth stroker, is leading by 34 pins over Jim Schroeder. Second semifinal. Winner meeting Harry Smith. Earlier down Billy Welu by a score of 206 to 191. Here now is Jim Schroeder, who'd like to come back.
Schroeder in the 5th frame, working on a spare. He's had but one strike. He's back on the lane where he collected that strike.
5-step approach.
And no 5-pin. Same pin that Joe Joseph left in his last frame. So Jimmy still has but one strike in the match, and that's been the difference because his opponent, Joe Joseph, started with 4 in a row, and then he spared and leads by 34 pins.
A lot of bowling personalities. Frank Esposito, Eastern Regional Director of the PBA, Dick Weber, Tom Hennessy, Bob Crawford. Watching intently now as Jim Schroeder goes for the 5-pin and just narrowly knocks it down.
There, shooting that spare, shooting that 5-pin, I think indicated why he's having trouble collecting the strikes. So you see the score is 75 through the 4th with a spare up, 109 for Joseph through the 4th with a spare up. You see that Schroeder's ball just wasn't finishing and just wasn't getting into that 5-pin, and the same thing is happening to him on his strike ball.
In the background, you heard Harry Smith practice shooting way off to the left while Joe Joseph looks at Jimmy Schroeder. Schroeder on 17.
Gave it a lot of lift that time. And then got a bad break just a bit high and left the 4-pin. An exciting horse racing, auto racing doubleheader is on tap tomorrow afternoon on ABC's Wide World of Sports. You can see the Grand National Steeplechase from Aintree, England, along with all the action in the Trenton, New Jersey 100 motor race. That's tomorrow on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
Sounds like a fine show coming up. Schroeder now going for the 4-pin. He is down in this match to Joe Joseph.
That gives Schroeder 94 through the 5th frame and a spare up. Joe Joseph working on a spare.
Current member of bowling's All-American team and using a short 4-step approach.
Beautiful delivery.
That's smooth.
5 out of 6 for Joe Joseph. And he has a 35-pin lead. A strike here would make it 45 pins, and it's getting late, as you see. We're in the 7th frame. Joe Joseph trying to meet Harry Smith, who defeated Billy Welu in our first match, 206 to 91. This one might be over early.
Joe stands number 35 on the money winning list, and he earned $2,050.
That ball was finishing very strongly for Joe. Had a peculiar angle to it, and it did finish high and left him with a 4-7, which I'm sure did not surprise Joe. Threw that ball a little bit slower than he had been delivering, and that made the difference as the ball hooked that much more. There are the panelists right behind our bowler, Joe Joseph. Tom Hennessy and Bob Crawford. We'll be talking to them very shortly.
4-7.